All right, guys, if you haven't watched the first video, go watch that because it blew my mind. And now we're getting into the details of what we left off with in that first video, which was like, holy shit, can this be real? Is the logic actually right? Because I'm debating doing this instead of trading my own personal futures account, and I'll show you why. But again, go watch the first video. You're going to really, it'll take you up to understanding how we got to this point, right? Because I was originally leaning towards the FX CFD prop firms, because you can build your account balance and you don't get penalized when you take withdrawals. But that all changed when I started to look at the numbers here with Apex and also the resets, right? This is insane. So, and I have no affiliation. I mean, maybe I will get an affiliation. Why not? Because this is pretty fucking amazing. So look at this. So you've got, I'm going on the 300K account. Okay. You could crunch the numbers. I guess I'll do the numbers on the 50K account. Maybe I'll do some special video on that next. Maybe the numbers on that are even better. I'm not really sure. But you could certainly use that to like reduce your cost here, right? I'll see which one makes the most sense. Maybe the 50K does make the most sense because you have a lower profit target to hit. But in any case, the numbers are amazing regardless if you do 50K, 300K, whatever, right? The 300K is good because you do have a lot more draw and you can keep your accounts going even when you take payouts. So that's kind of the key for the 300 for me, the difference between 300 and 50, why I'd be willing to go for that higher profit target, even though it's harder with the 300. But I got to think more about that. But look at this. So we all know that Apex, you know, they usually do 70 or 80% off. So these are the numbers with both, right? On the 300K, it's 657 normal cost, but at 80% off, it's 131. At 70% off, it's 197, right? And today's the last day for that 80% off sale. So got to get some of these for sure. Got to get my own affiliate number so I can get 15% more off. That's reason enough to do it. All right, so check this out. So so on the first video, you see how I'm laying the foundation. If let's say you just take 2 trades per day on your own account, right? 10 trades a week here, and 2 trades a day, 10 trades a week. And let's say you're risking, you know, I'm trying to set the risk on the personal account similar to what you'd risk over here on the prop accounts, right? Because we're treating each prop account as a trade, right? So if you take 2 trades per day on your personal account, in this example, the other example was similar that we did in the previous video, but on this example, let's say you risk 150 US per trade, right, on your own account. Whereas if you're going to do that, I mean, that's like, you got to, if you have a $5,000 account, you can risk 150 per trade. If you're conservative, you can take a couple trades a day, right? So then I say, okay, well, basically if I'm going to risk that same 300 per day, right, which is 2 losing trades in a row times 150, 300 is my risk per day on let's say just on a small 5K account, right, which is, I think I'm using these numbers because I think these are numbers that most people like are working with, and I want to make it realistic for you guys. So here what you can see is that with Apex for $300 and the 70% is still pretty close, right? They're pretty close. You get 3 accounts because of the cost of the reset here, which is fucking massive. Top Step doesn't do that, right? So instead of getting 2 trades per day, right, for that $300, here you're getting 3 trades, and whether or not you take these in a day or not doesn't really matter. Just say you get 3 trades for the same risk as you would on your own account for 2 trades, if you're kind of looking apples to apples, right? Then with the activation fee, you know, once you pass, so look at the numbers here, guys. So let's say you do 10 of these accounts in a week, right? Because you're doing, well, really you only have to do, yeah, let's just say you do 10 of these 300K accounts in a week, right? And because you're doing 2 trades a day on your own account, so you want to, you know, I'm just talking about what I take. I take about 2 trades a day. So, and I do that in the live stream, right? So if I do that 2 trades a day, and, you know, on my own account, like let's say I make, you know, let's say if I win 50 or 60% of my trades, my R factor is like 2 to 1, and don't worry about what I risk on that. But you know, that's a good winning week for me, right? So I'm trying to think like, is it better to use the prop for money? I mean, I think it's looking like it is, and I might do this on the channel as like a fun challenge. But here you can see, if you fail 7 accounts, right here, I believe I took the higher amount, F3. Did I take the higher amount? Let's take the higher amount. 7 times F4. Let's just do like this. Because I want to take, let's just take the 70% off, even though oftentimes if you wait, you get the 80%. So if you fail 7 accounts, Oh, right. No, because you fail 7. You're not failing 7 accounts at, you're probably going to get the resets, right? So you're going to do 7 accounts times. Pause this for you guys here. 1 sec. Okay, I think I'm putting this together fast, you guys. So I just want to get these videos out to you. So basically, let's say you fail 7 accounts, right? And it's going to vary a little bit because you don't know when you're going to pass the 3. You'll see my pass ratios here, but you don't know like which ones you're going to reset, which ones you're not going to reset. So I tried to use like an average here, right? So let's just say, for the numbers here on 7 failed accounts, I just said you basically have your original cost. I'm taking the higher 70% here of 197 and then 6 resets, right? You say, oh, well, but you might get one over and have to do a fresh account for the higher. Yeah, that's true. But then here on your 3 accounts passed, I'm still doing the higher 70% initial fee. And then I'm doing, I'm saying that all 3 of them were the higher fee, right? So I think I'm finding a good average here. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And then I'm including the activation fee. I'm just doing the 1 month activation fee for now. So basically your total cost, if you use this model, even using the 70%, which right now it's cheaper, but your total cost, if you were to take 2 trades a day, right, and risk an account per trade, you're basically risking, your cost is about $1,600 a week. And that's if, you end up passing a few of them, which I'll get to in a second. Because if you just fail 10 straight in a row and you just lose 10 trades in a row, which could happen, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't happen to me while I'm fucking live streaming, but it could. The good news about that, if you lose 10 in a row, is that your first one is at 197, but your other 9 are resets at 80. So you only lose, your risk of a horrible week, 10 in a row, is $900. That's not bad, you guys, when you look at the numbers. But here, if, let's say you fail 7 and you pass 3, right? Because we're just looking at this as a trade by trade basis. And I think with the 300K, you do have, with that, you're going to have to go big contracts to, hit that profit goal on a trade, but you got 7,000 in risk, 7,500 in trailing risk, which is pretty darn good, right? So then you got, based on these numbers here, you fail 7, you pass 3. Let's say your cost on that, roughly this is even at the 70%, is going to be about $1,600, right? And then you get one of those accounts to 2 times 3,500 payouts, because that's what I'm saying is you're just getting. I mean, if you went through all this, you're definitely going to be able to get one of those accounts up to 7,000 profit, which was your original draw on that account, right? You can do that on these numbers. So then you get, but Apex only allows you to take out 3,500, which is not a big deal. You take out 2 times 3,500 payments, which gives you 7K in profit for the month, right? So then you look at your payout minus your cost is your 7 minus your 16. You get like 5,400 in profit, right? Which if you can do this per week, which with Apex, I think you can, especially when they have their 1 day to pass. But even if it's not per week, let's say it's per every 10 days, right? Let's just say if it's every 10 days, instead of being 21,000, you'd basically be at like 15,000 a month in profit, right? And this is with a challenge pass rate of 30% and a payout, rate of overall 10%. But really, out of your past accounts, you basically be 1 out of 3, you'd be 33% also, right? So, yeah, I think that these numbers are super interesting. And again, if you have a horrible week, 10 in a row, you only lose 900 because of that. So I think that this is, I'm going to consider going for this. I got to think through it more. Let me know in the comments if I'm off about how I'm thinking, but I think it makes a lot of sense. If you treat each account as a trade, the numbers look pretty darn good, because on your downside, but on a good week, I mean, you might get 4 accounts or 5 accounts over the line, and you might get payouts on 2 or 3 of them, right? Like, it's pretty fascinating. And I'd have to, so the last thing I'll leave you guys with is, why would you do 300K and not 50K? Because the 50Ks are a lot cheaper. It's true. So I got to run those numbers. Maybe I'll do the final video on that. But the only benefit I can see to the 50K, number one, is cheaper. And, the profit to draw ratio is 1 to 1 roughly. You get to lose 2,500 to make 3,000. So that's a big benefit. But then if you get a payout on that account, like you want to take, $2,000, you only get to leave a $600 cushion in there, which is not the end of the world. I mean, so I'm, you know, guys, I'm gonna do one last video because I'm doing this for myself because it's fucking fascinating on how these numbers. We already know now how these break down with a 300K, and we know like what we'd be willing to spend here. So I'm gonna look at 20 50K accounts and how it would break down like this, you know, with this system that I'm probably gonna do for myself and I'm sharing with you guys. Okay, like, share, subscribe, ask me questions, tell me where I'm not thinking clearly. I hope I'm thinking clearly, because I hope there's not some major thing I'm missing that's going to bite me in the ass, because I'm pretty excited right now, as you can hear. Otherwise, I just go back to trading my personal account. But this is kind of fun. And I think it can make for a lot of good entertainment on the channel to spice up the live streams, because we're making great calls using OMA. You know, the live streams are like, you know, really good for trading and making money, but they're not good for being super entertaining. And this could kind of make it kind of fun. All right. I'll see you in the next video here quickly. I got to get all this done because trading is starting for me in a couple hours.